episode 9. I'm glad to be back and I ain't going nowhere. Do you hear me? This week, we gonna delve into one of my other loves. My other loves, well, let me take it back. I had two first loves growing up. The first one was Hillary Banks. Oh, she was bad. With a close honorable mention, Lisa Ray from Old Players Club. Oh man, I seen her in front of that box. I used to wait outside at a library, waiting for one of the OGs to go out there. Can you rent that for me? What you need, brother? Players Club. Yeah, rent that for me. I'll bring it back. I ain't gonna mess up nobody's library card. Woo! But my second love is video games. I'm huge into video games, man. Video games has been a huge part of my life, man. When I was a kid, video games used to bring me solace, man. They used to bring a peace to me when I felt like I was alone. I had video games, man. So I was very huge on video games, period, man. Started off with Sega Genesis. And then, I had Sonic the Hedgehog. That was my first, game of my own console. Now I would go on to Marsh and ran all them games up there. Man, I had a good childhood. Do you hear me? Got me a PlayStation 1. One of my first games for that was Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy 7. Man, I played them all, man. The Rock's been there. The Rock's done it all. He's done it all. And yeah, video games, man, they're a huge part of who I am. And so my favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy 7. My second favorite is Metal Gear Solid. As a matter of fact, I want to go in and say that it's the series as a whole. Metal Gear Solid, the series, was one of the greatest storytelling endeavors I've ever seen. Shout out to Hideo Kojima. He's big business. Oh man, I enjoyed my childhood. Do you hear me? But that brings me today, to the point that I beat Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And I got a lot to say about it. Man, that game, first of all, it came out January 16th. It came out in the stores January 17th, but your boy had it on the 16th because I'm big business like that. And I was very excited, man. There's been a lot of Dragon Ball Z games over the course of history. I know I used to play them on the emulators for Super Nintendo. I think it was what was it called? It was Dragon Ball Z Hyper something. It was dope, man. It was on Super Nintendo, but I didn't have a Super Nintendo. So we would go on to play it on emulators on the computer. So that was dope. And that game was dope. The graphics was fire. It was wild. Then we played Dragon Ball Z RPG. That was a dope game. If y'all don't know about that, go back and play it. I mean, right now, I think it kind of stands the test of time, but not very many people know about it. But going back to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, man, I was super excited when I first heard the news about it because I love Dragon Ball Z. I love Goku. He's on my wall. He's one of my biggest role models, man. I love Goku. And when I heard it was coming out, I just flipped shits, man. It was crazy. And I waited, and then next thing you know, they're like, yeah, start pre-ordering. Yeah, I pre-ordered mine. I was too late to get the big $200 one with the statuettes and all that, but I'm happy to have the game as it is. So, one of my favorite genres, which Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game, it's an RPG. So, you level up your character, you go through and handle your business. And when I heard it was an RPG, I went into this game thinking, I gotta go handle my business RPG style. See, I'm the type of person that plays RPG. I level up over the game. I level up over the story mode. So when it's time to do all those side quests and stuff that you got to get ultimate weapons and all that, I always made sure that I was up to the challenge. And so to start the game off, you just Goku and Gohan just chilling. Y'all go fishing. You have a good time there, and then you get to wander around the world. You can't even fly yet, but all you see is all these little orbs, just all over the place. Red ones, green ones, blue ones, some rainbow color. And I'm just feeling like I gotta collect all these because this is Dragon Ball Z. I gotta 100% this game. That's what has to be done. And then upon watching the game, I mean playing the game more and more, I will come to find out that I didn't need to do all that. So yeah, there's like even after you get all the orbs, there's still more orbs. So you end up with like a surplus of them by the time you beat the game. But you go into and there's no spoilers here. It's Dragon Ball Z. It's been out since like 1986, I think, or yeah, Dragon Ball came out in 86 or 88, one of the two, and then Dragon Ball Z would come out later on after that, you know. But Dragon Ball Z was here before I was here. And shout out to my dogs. They playing Dragon Ball Z right now. All y'all do is fight and show out all the time. Why y'all do this? Can y'all calm down? They do this every time I do a show. I don't know. I figured I was getting warm outside. We about to start tying them up. I don't care what you got to say, Peter. We gonna start tying them up. But any rate, you go into the Saiyan Saga. Raditz shows up. You already know the drill. You Piccolo and Goku. You go out there and you fight them, and then you get into the Saiyan Saga, and which was epic. I had a good time playing in that realm because you have a whole bunch of side quests that you can do, which I realized was more fruitful to just do the side quest than to just be out here fighting the random robots that seems to be in every side story. Like, you know, you got to go save a village, and then somebody happens to have a red ribbon robot in the capsule, and so they just pop it out. And it just so happens to be a formidable opponent to you. And you're a Z fighter. You Goku. So you like, man, a robot? But we all know how the Android Saga, how that turned out. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second. So you go through, I think the fight with Great Ape Vegeta, that was fun. You go on to the Namek Saga. And after you get into the Namek Saga, you have some pretty good fights going on. But if you overpower the game like I was trying to do, they were a little short. Frieza, I would say I got my first death on Frieza. Goku versus Frieza that first time because Frieza, I wasn't prepared for some of the stuff. You got to be prepared for that flash step to know how to do that because the flash step is a very imperative skill that you need to have and know how to utilize it. Eating is a big deal in this game. I'll get into that later. But I was able to beat Frieza. Then you get into the Android Saga, and it's you know, it's like my guy Dustin Wallace said, man. The game just starts turning into a movie, and it just turns all the way up. So you get into a fight, boom, cutscene. Get into a fight, cutscene. So you feel like you're watching the series again, but you have those opportunities to get into those, you know, monumental fights that we've all grown to love. So I had a good time playing up until that point. Then I got to the Buu Saga where I really was watching the series all over again. And it if you really wanted to just keep on continuing playing the game and you just want to be into the action parts, yes, you can 100% skip these parts. But me being a fan that I am, I'm not skipping none of that. And I found myself getting back into the action. So once you get to like the Gotenks arc and all that and Super Buu, it starts picking up like the action. And I gotta say, they outdid themselves with the Kid Buu fight. That was fun. I enjoyed myself. It was a real challenge because a lot of the game it was pretty easy to me. I don't know if that's just general like video game playing knowledge, but it got fun at the Kid Buu part, and towards the end of the game, it got really fun. And then they had that epic moment where Goku is fighting Majin Buu while he's still trying to, you know, get the spirit bomb going. That was epic. I had a good time, man. So shout out to the game as a whole, man. I enjoyed it. I love going down memory lane. I'll never forget when Toonami was finally like, hey, we got new episodes of Dragon Ball Z. Because they used to go all the way to where Goku was fighting, what's my man's name? The purple ones. From the Ginyu Force. He was fighting Berter and Jace. And he already did Berter bad. And it was just like Jace. And it got to the point where it always started all the way over at like Tree of Might or something like that. One of the 3 original movies. It was Tree of Might, World's Strongest, and Dead Zone. It always started back over at the movies, and we had to watch the series again. And when I say had to, I say loosely because we wanted to. It's not a bad thing to want to watch this stuff all over again. But little did we know, man, they had a whole bunch of extra arcs going on in Japan. We didn't know about that, and I was there when the internet was, kind of cracking, but it wasn't really cracking. And where we can go to YouTube now and watch whatever we want to watch. But back then, I had to wait for it to come back on TV. So man, at the end of the day, the game was good. Um, I got to get back to those robots, man. There was a lot of side quests that you would do, like for instance, there's a part where Yamcha. This is after the Saiyan saga, and somebody's like, "I see the ghost of Yamcha," and he's trying to take girls on dates and stuff because that's Yamcha's character. I think that's his only. That's the only thing that makes him useful in the show is that he just gets girls, and you go on these missions and like there's this guy that's like, "Hey Yamcha, why are you talking to my girl?" and pulls out a capsule, and what do you have? A robot. So you gotta fight some robots again, and they find little random ways to like insert some of the Frieza Force and then some of like the Cybermen. They have their ways of doing that, and it was okay. But I mean, for the side quests, you really didn't fight anything other than a juiced up robot, a juiced up Cyberman, or a juiced up a juiced up member of the Frieza Force. So I wasn't too big on some of the side quests, but they had to be done. I wanted to boss the game out. And then they have racing and time attacks. I'm not into that stuff. I mean, I kind of like Midnight Club. I like Gran Turismo. That was a fun game. I like that series, but I really wasn't so much into racing games like that. So they throw that in there, and I guess now I got to figure out a way to build a car that's faster than everybody else's because that's just the thing. And then they also have these races with bipedal robots, or bipedal, however you want to say it, and you just kind of run around in them and do time attacks and run on hills. Like, it'd be more fun if you raced against people, I guess, but you just basically do time attack. It's like, how fast can you beat this course? How proficient can you get with this course? The controls weren't that great, but there was some satisfaction in overcoming something like that. So it was cool. It was cool. So the other part, which is eating, you have to go collect all these dishes, and they give you super power ups. Like you get like extra 25% attack power. And mind you, if you already a big dog and you got an extra 25%, you a big dog. Every dog has their day, and you get two of them when you eat this good. So that's fun. You get to hunt a little bit, and it's useful. It finds its way to be useful if you need it to be, but it's cool. The leveling system is cool. The game is cool. But for what Dragon Ball Z means to me and how I feel about it, this game was dope. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed living through those moments, and I felt a real satisfaction beating Boo. I felt good about that. I felt good about beating those arcs. I felt good about beating the game, and it was fun to relive those memories. And we'll go back, and I've never had a Dragon Ball Z game that I played that I didn't like, because I enjoy going through those moments and being those characters. Because for people that don't know, Goku, like I say all the time, Goku, he embodies a lot of the black man and the black man struggle, and how he's always fighting to get stronger, and he still has a good heart. And it could have been turned at some point. And I was just thinking the past weekend, like, good or evil, what's better? Is it better to try and make a heaven on earth, or is it better to try and get to heaven? And I don't know. I came to the conclusion that, man, we just have hell on earth, and we got to do the best we can to make the best out of it, but do the best we can, period, man. And they say that a lot in the game. Do what you can. I don't know if I can do this, but do what you can. I like that. There's no real pressure to succeed, but it feels good when you say, I can do it, and then you do it. And that means a lot. So, man, I had a good time. And if I have to rate this game, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 7. It was a great game. My scale goes to 7 because A, Final Fantasy 7, and because B, there are 7 Dragon Balls. So, and that's my favorite number. Shout out to Mike Vick. So 7 is just out there. 7 days in a week. I love it all. So with that being said, we're going to get more reviews out here. The next thing coming up, actually, that I'm going to make as a project, if you will, is Final Fantasy 7. I'll start trying to get video and stuff on how to incorporate some screens and stuff while I'm doing this. I'll figure it out. Hey, I got to give you the first one raw, and I'll get better from here. But the next one's going to be Final Fantasy 7. You already know I got that mug on reserved. It's ready to go. They keep pushing the release date back. It was March 3rd, and now they moved it up into April. So I got to wait some more. But that's all right. But the time that we need to be outside enjoying life and doing stuff, that's when they want to drop the game. But that's all good. But you know the deal. Holla at your boy, UNIQO_Williams, Unico_Williams on Twitter, Unico Williams on everything else, Snapchat, all that. And you already know, if you done been up to the church house and you leave there just a little bit empty and you need somebody to talk to, hop on Christian Mingle. Your boy is on there as Bar Swallow. You already know the deal. It's your boy Unico Williams with Do You Hear Me? I holla.